Studies show that from 5% to 15% of men over 65 have incontinence. While there are surgical procedures that doctors may sometimes recommend, this program focuses on useful everyday strategies that any man can adopt. By doing so, patients often become expert at managing their urinary incontinence.
The patient really may not be aware of the products that are out there that are available in the market. The other hand is the doctors also may not be aware of these products, so he can't counsel his own patient very well. Well, I think clearly patients who've gone through this and who have experience using these products are the best experts in teaching and explaining it to other patients. And so by having another patient to talk to, not only does that or the patient who's been through it before have some experience, but also really can offer, I think, some comfort to the patient too, that it's not the end of the world, and he can adapt and regain his quality of life. John has been a patient of mine for the last several years. Prior to meeting him, he underwent a radical prostatectomy 7 years ago. However, he suffered from post-prostatectomy urinary incontinence, but he's found ways to adapt to it that have allowed him to resume his pre-treatment level of quality of life and activity. John has gone on to teach other patients on how they may adapt to their urinary incontinence problem so that they also can resume their pre-treatment level of quality of life and activity.
I was in the hospital for radical prostatectomy, which means surgically removing my my prostate. And the attendants brought me to my room after the recovery period, and they moved me from one bed to the other, swung me in a sheet, but I was hooked up with a Foley catheter in my bladder, and it went down a tube, and it was tied to a urine bag. And as they swung me over, they forgot to unhook the urine bag, and it just did severe damage to my urethra and my bladder. I was frustrated. I was scared. I didn't know what was going to happen. The doctor kept saying that things will be fine, things will be fine. After a few weeks of being in a robe, couldn't dress. When I did, I would get wet. I tried diapers, it leaked, all those things. One day, I was alone in my yard. I was in pain. I was wearing a robe that I'd been wearing on and off for 3 weeks. I just was miserable, and I looked up in the sky, and I said, if there's a God out there, I need a sign. And immediately, this hummingbird came right in my face, and I thought, oh shit, God's gonna strike me dead. But then it moved from there, and it went around my hand, facing that direction 3 times, came back to my face real close so I could feel it fluttering, and then it flew away. So I walked in the house, got a notepad and a pen, sat down at the table, started to cry, and I wrote how to live your daily life. How to live your daily life with incontinence.
John joined a support group and adopted dietary and lifestyle recommendations from medical experts who spoke to his group. He cut out all caffeine drinks and didn't consume any alcohol. John rarely ate spicy foods since they can trigger more incontinence. He drank plenty of water because adequate water reduces irritation to the bladder. John kept his weight at an optimal level, as excess weight puts additional pressure on the bladder. He regularly consumed fiber, since constipation can worsen incontinence. Though John had never smoked, it's prudent to stop smoking for many reasons, including the fact that smoking can trigger urinary tract irritation. In addition to making the recommended dietary and lifestyle changes, John consulted with medical specialists and tried corrective surgeries. Though each of the surgeries failed, John shared his personal challenges and found support from others in his support group. After experimenting with over-the-counter products, John, like many men, came to rely on diapers and pads to help manage his condition. To help fellow patients with various levels of incontinence, John meets with patient groups and shares what he's learned.
There are many different types of diapers. There's different name brands, different style, different construction, and you just have to find out for yourself. You try one of those, you find different ones, write some notes when you try one and say what you like about it and you don't like, and you put a check mark. So after a while, as you're getting used to being incontinent and you have no choice in the matter, then you can live a pretty normal life and also a happy life by having good supplies. Of all the diapers you have for, what do you do when you're traveling? One of the things is you want to be able to change your diaper. Many times you'll be in a restroom where guys have peed on the floor a little bit. You try to get undressed, change your diaper, and then pretty soon your socks are wet and you're in a mess. With this Depend here, the Refastenable, you can open it up on both sides. You can pull it out and put another one in, and you haven't had to undress. And it's very easy. It's got a Velcro fastener on it, and it's a little bit bulkier than the ones like Jockey Short, but believe me, when I travel, I want to have some of these here. How do you stay dry? What's the ultimate way to maintain this dryness, to know that you're not going to have a whoops and be wet when you're someplace where you can't change or you don't want to have to deal with it? And the first thing is to, if you use a pad, it's a heavy duty, the heaviest one that Poise makes. It's listed as a woman's pad, but I've never had anybody complain because I use them. They fit better than so-called male's pad that are too wide and they bunch up on you. So what you do is you would slip this on, and then you take a refastenable diaper, and this again comes in when you're traveling and you need to change. So what you do is the pad would go inside your diaper. Here's the front, and now you take your Velcro and you put it on the green spot, and then you try to reach the other side and do the same. Then you can readjust because you have, again, you have Velcro. Now you can readjust it so it looks better. And then, so as to keep it as dry as possible, then you take your jockey shorts and you just slip those over as such, and you readjust a little bit here, and it sounds like a lot of material to wear between your legs, but believe me, it will keep you dry. And as I speak this moment, that is the way I'm dressed. So I've talked to quite a few people, and when they try to stay dry using this here, they're very pleased with this. As far as your appearance, some of the things that you can do is to, for instance, I mentioned to have dark pants is one of them. Another one is to wear your pants one size bigger. Let it be baggy a little bit. Then you don't, it doesn't outline what you're wearing so much. Also, something for, maybe for appearance, is the style of pants that I wear. But I always have pads in each pocket. No matter where I'm at, I always have two pads. I'm going somewhere and I'm with somebody and I'll say, just a minute, I'll be right back. And I zip in the bathroom. If nobody is around, I just pull out the pad, get rid of it, put on a fresh pad, wash my hands, and continue on my journey. some say, you know, what's the deal with shrink your wallet? Shrink your wallet is because so many of us, we accumulate receipts and piece of paper and business cards in our wallet, and it's a matter that it gets so like a big lump in the back. You already have 2 pads in the front, and it's more difficult to walk, and also it highlights what you're wearing underneath too much. So it's just a matter of camouflage or dressing in a way where it doesn't show. Another item that I have and is very popular with many people is a pad that's called manhood, and it is shaped like a hood, and what you do is the long part goes on top, you slip the penis in there, so if you have a little bit of leakage, it'll be caught in there. Then it has an adhesive strip that will stick to your underwear so it doesn't slip out your pant leg. One of the products that we have, and it's very useful, it's called Brief Relief. And what it is a small plastic bag, heavy duty, with granules in it. And you urinate in there, and the liquid turns into a gel, so it can't leak out. After you're done, you put the lock back on there, and then you can dispose of it when you get to a trash can or a safe place. What happens if you have an emergency and you don't have your supply? Where do you go? What would you do? I know that usually I use 12 to 15 pads a day and 2 diapers a day. Now, if all of that was taken from me, what would I do? What I would do is I would go to my emergency kit, and this is what I call my emergency kit. It has supplies in here for 5 days. I have, for instance, I have 12 diapers in here. I have 60 pads. I have 2 pairs of briefs. I have 2 face cloths. And the briefs are, again, the reason I wear briefs over my diaper, so that if the diaper gets wet, it gets very heavy and it drags you down, and it gives you that impression that you have a diaper, but things are so heavy. With briefs, it keeps everything up, and then you can take care of the diaper later. I also have 2 face cloths, so I can wash myself and dry myself, and I keep those in baggies. And also I keep 10 baggies, so if I'm in a place where I was stuck and I need to use my emergency kit, then I don't leave wet pads all over the place, and I can put them back in a Ziploc and then dispose of them at a later time. Also, I have 1 pair of dark pants. The best color to wear if you're incontinent, and especially if you're very much incontinent, then is to wear navy blue pants. It's the color that seems to show the least if you should have a little slip up, a little accident, and got wet a little bit. So you stay away from khakis, and even black doesn't, it'll show a spot and you can tell. So also in here I have hygiene supplies. I have liquid soap that I can use to keep myself clean. I have a small trash bags. I keep 4 or 5 with a twist, a tie on there, so that I can, when I have some stuff that needs to be disposed of, I can put it in here until I find a trash can. Also, nowadays, with the TSA issues when you travel at the airport, it used to be that I could get in on a plane, and I always loaded with the people that says that they needed assistance, and told the attendant that I had my emergency medical supply with me and needed to be above my head. Well, now things are going to change. So if you have a medical letter from your doctor, then it will hopefully facilitate things for you. So now this emergency kit sits in our closet by the front door at home. If I go on a short trip to LA or go to San Diego or to someplace else, it always is in the car with me. When I travel internationally or something, I have that with me. So I really recommend that with all the conditions we have with earthquakes, with fire, this one you can carry it this way, you can carry it as a backpack. And just imagine yourself, again, if you were stuck and you had to be there for 5 days, where would you get the supplies that you need? When you plan for it and you act upon it, and I highly recommend also that you make a list. Keep the list in here. Twice a year, look it up. You know, did something come out of there, or you used it and you didn't replace it?
After networking and speaking at support groups in Southern California, John started to get phone calls from men in other states.
Some years back, after my surgery, I got a phone call on a Sunday morning from a guy in Wyoming, and his big issue is that he couldn't go hunting with his buddies. And so we talked for a while, and he told me about his friends, how they're really good friends, but when it comes to things like incontinence, they're real assholes. So he didn't want any of them ever to find out that he was incontinent. So I told him how to dress, how to, get up half hour earlier and go take your shower before everybody is waiting in line or in the shower, and see how things work out for you. And some weeks later, I got a phone call back, and he was so excited because he had been hunting, and he said, nobody knew that I have to wear diapers, so I want to thank you very much. And for me, it was, I call it a humbling experience. It was something that it really touched my heart that I could help one person on such a big issue for that person.
To summarize, there are many different types of diapers, pads, and other products in stores and on the internet. Try them out to find what works best. Staying dry is achievable. It's prudent to maintain a full week's incontinence supplies for emergencies. This program is dedicated to the memory of Lou Pfeffer. He cared enough to inform and educate more than 1,000 men, restoring their hope and helping them to achieve superior outcomes with their challenging prostate cancer issues.